Hey crafty friends, it's Elizabeth from BBsButterfly, and I know I have been gone for a really long time, but I am back, and I hope to be doing more videos. It's been kind of crazy with craft shows and remodeling the house and with my grandmother. So I'm back, and I have been doing some reorganizing within my craft room, and I came across some interesting things. So right now I am trying to reorganize all of my paper, and believe me, I have a ton of it. So I was looking at Jennifer McGuire and some other people who were redoing their paper storage, or how they store their paper, and they bought these job ticket sleeves or pouches, and I found these at Office Depot, and they were buy two get one free, but they were still really expensive, and there were only 10 in the package. So I was thinking, how could I do this a little bit cheaper? And so I was looking at different things like Ziploc bags, and some, my laminating sheets. I know you probably can't see that, but I was thinking, can I use the laminating pouches to create something? But what I came up with was actually something very interesting. I love the hardware store, so when I was looking at the packaging of the job ticket sleeves, I thought, well, it's like 5.75 mil or something crazy, and it's got these, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got the edges like if you were using the fuse tool. So I thought maybe I could make my own that were a little sturdier than Ziploc bags. So what I came up with was this, if I can pull it out. And it's not as clear as the job ticket sleeves, but you can see it's pretty sturdy plastic, and my 8.5 by 11s fit in just perfectly. And what I plan to do is, once I get these done, is create little labels with the paper. Now, a lot of my paper, like this one, I have no idea where it came from. I believe it is 65-pound weight. That's what it feels like. And obviously it's a lime green, but I'm going to try to create a bunch of these that are I believe these are 9.5, yeah, 9.5 by 12.25. So that's what I made this one. Not actually, this one is just shy of 9.5. Maybe it is 9.5 by 12. And even though it's 9.5 by 12, it fits the 8.5 by 11 just perfectly, with a little extra room so I can have more paper. And I did use, I didn't use a fuse tool because I don't have one, but I used my soldering iron or wood burning tool. They're all the same thing, with the little wheel on it. If you can see that. I don't want to touch it because it's hot. So that's what I used to seal the edges. You could probably use tape, although I'm finding that tape doesn't really stick to this, which is kind of good in a way. But anyway, so let me show you what this plastic is. I was doing some searching around, and I thought, surely there's got to be some plastic sheeting or something that is 6 mil or equivalent, because the job tickets are 5.75 mil. And what I came across was this, and it's from the Home Depot, and it's like $23 for a whole honkin' roll, and it's 10 foot by 25 feet, and it is 6 mil. Even though it's not crystal clear, it's still see-through enough, or clear enough, that you can see what color your paper is. So I bought a roll, and when I say a roll, it's a huge roll. I mean, look at that bad boy. There's more plastic here than you could ever need or have use for. This is found in the paint section where the drop cloths are. And like I say, it was $25 or thereabouts for 10 feet by 25 feet. So I'm going to make a bunch of more of these 8.5 by 11 or 9.5 by 12s for all of my 8.5 by 11 paper. But I also have a ton of 12 by 12 paper that I want to make pouches for. So I thought I would show you how I did it. And this is, it's going to be a little bit bigger than what I could fit into the frame of the camera. But what I did is I cut off 14 inches because I want to make 13 by 13 pouches. So I just unrolled it. I believe it's 10 feet folded this way and rolled up into the 25 feet. So I can get quite a few out of this. So like I said, I just measured out roughly 14 inches, cut it off, and then I'm going to unfold this mess. And since it's 13 by 13, this way is 14, so I'm going to measure off 26 inches and cut it. Actually, I'm going to do 26 and a half, as long as I don't burn the crap out of myself with that hot sucker. So let's sort of measure, sorta. The only thing is this plastic is, it's not smooth, so it's got lots of wrinkles and stuff in it. But that doesn't bother me because over time the wrinkles will come out. So, and it's super easy to cut with your scissors. Let's go with 27-ish. And once you get all of the pieces, or as many as you can get out of one section, then I'll show you how to use your paper turner, which is pretty freaking awesome because this stuff is pretty thick. I mean, it's not gonna rip that easily, but it melts nicely. So there's another pouch. So there's that one. I bet I can get two, maybe even, yeah, I can get two more out of this. So see, out of one section, you can get 4 pouches. And I haven't done the math totally to see how much money I can save doing it this way, but I'm thinking that 10 of those job ticket sleeves that are for the 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, 10 of those are like $10. So they're $1 a piece, and I'm betting this is a whole heck of a lot cheaper than that. So I have just a tiny piece left over that I can make a pouch for, like my 6 by 6 paper pads. That'd be kind of cool. Because I'm all about doing stuff cheap. Yeah, it's going to take a little time and ingenuity, but cheaper is better. Not to mention, it creates a fun craft video. And when I was doing this, I was looking at different people, you know, trying to figure out a way to make my own little pouches. And I only found a couple of videos where some ladies were using Ziploc bags, and I thought, well, but they're not really that thick, and the plastic flops around, and you know, then you gotta stick a piece of chipboard to it or something like that, and I'm just not interested in that when this is super easy. So what I'm doing now is I just folded it in half, lined it up mostly on the sides, and I'm creasing the bottom, which is pretty easy to do. So I don't know if you can see that crease. but it creases pretty easy. And then if you just run your fingernails over it, makes an, or bone folder would have been easy. All right, so then what I'm going to do is lay a metal ruler down one side, and actually I think I'm going to use, no, I need to, I'm going to use my paper trimmer, but my paper trimmer does not go that to 13 inches or whatever it is. So I think I'm going to fuse it first and then trim off the edge. So here's my little cutting board. It's a bamboo board, and I use it when I'm doing this kind of thing to protect my table. And my little hot pink ruler. And you want to get kind of close to, let me zoom in just a bit if I can. Okay, sorry. So you can see like where it's darker here, this is the 2 layers, and then as where it's not really lined up and it gets lighter right here, that's the single layer. So I'm just going to try to line it up as close as I can to where there's 2 layers so you can fuse the plastic together. And just kind of run it. I don't know if you guys have the same problem I do, but my little wheel, when it gets super hot, it doesn't want to turn. So I never can tell, and it smokes. So if you're worried about fumes, you might want to make sure you're in a ventilated space. Alright, and then we're just going to back it up a tad so I have more cutting board. Alright, so that is fused together. And my fusing is not pretty. Sorry about the nails too. I've been doing lots of woodwork today. We installed a new door. So, and I've washed my hands like 15,000 times, and it doesn't matter. Alright, so that's kind of fused together, right? So what I'm going to do now is just kind of fold it so that my fuse lines on the top, oh, focus, on the top and the bottom kind of line up so that I can use my paper trimmer. Let me back you back out. Alright, so I don't really use this paper trimmer all that much. It was one of my first ones, and since I've got the my green thingy, my cutter, my new cutter, I don't really use anything else for paper, but this works for this purpose. So I'm just gonna kind of line it up pretty. All I'm trying to do is trim off the extra without cutting into the fuse line. And I just put it past the plastic a little bit so I can make sure I get in there. Alright, and then I turn that off and toss it. So now I have a pretty straight line. Pretty straight. Not super straight, but close enough for me. Alright, so now that that part is done, so here was my crease. I fused one side to get a straight edge, basically, and then now it's open like that. So now I'm going to fuse this side and leave the top open. So I just turn it over, and I want to make sure that I have 13 inches. So 13, that's 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, I cut off 2 inches more than I needed. Actually, I'm going to do probably 13 and a half, just to make sure I have a little extra room. So I'm going to go Let me use my paper trimmer and trim that up. So again, since I'm using my paper trimmer, I'm lining this up, the fused seam, and slide that, get in there. Just gonna line up my fused seam real quick, and I'm gonna trim off, I'm like, what am I doing? I kind of need that so I can see how long it is. So let's go 13 1/4. We'll do that. That sounds good. And again, it doesn't have to be super straight, but straight-ish. Alright. There's that. And now it's mostly straight. Now remember, when you're fusing, you want to start from the closed side and fuse away from it so that there's no pocket or bunching at the end. So we're going to lay this on my little mat, line it up 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and fuse away. Okay, give it a second to cool off, let go, hot plastic, and we'll finish it up. Now we check our seams to make sure there's no open pockets. Get the cat hair off. Check the other side. Okay, no open pockets. So now I can take some 12 by 12 paper. I just happen to have some laying around here. This is Prima's bedtime story for a project I was going to work on, a baby book, but I wanted to keep the paper from fading and just keep it all nice and together. So let's see how this bad boy works. Look at that. Now it's all together. And what's really awesome is we can straighten up this edge if we want to. So I'm going to line up, again, since this is bigger than my trimmer will go to. We'll line up the fused pieces, or the edge. Get it to be roughly, we'll go 13 1/4. That looks good. And again, now we have straight edges. Put our paper in there. And you have a little extra breathing room if you want to. You can, if you like for your papers to smell nice, you can stick a dryer sheet in there. The dryer sheet will also kind of reduce some of the static. So I just happen to have some pieces of dryer sheet laying around. Cut this piece. Oh, come on, scissors. Alright. Slide that in there. You can even rub down your plastic. Alright, and now you have this awesome little pouch, and it cost you pennies instead of dollars, which is pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. And then what I'm going to do, once I get all these pouches made, like I said, I made these little labels right here. So, let's make a label, shall we? And I just have some scrap white cardstock laying around. And this is the tab punch from, I think it's We Are Memory Keepers. I don't know. I wish I had the other tab punch, and I actually have a die for that, but I don't want to get out my die cutter. So instead, I'm going to make 2 of these, because I want to be able to put the tab on both sides. And then I'm going to take my inky pen, wherever I put it, and this is Prima Bedtime Story. Okay, so there's that. And for this part, you want to use something other than your ATG, because it just doesn't stick real well. The labels that I made here, they come off. This was done with my ATG, and it's just not working out for me. So let's see if I have some glue. You want to glue these 2 pieces together if you're using this kind of label. Glue these 2 pieces together, and then use some score tape or something else to put on the edge of that. So, let me find my score tape. Actually, I've got some red line tape. That'll work. And I'm going to put red line on the bottom. I have glitter everywhere in here. Glitter everywhere you look. I know, that was like a really huge pair of scissors for a tiny little job. Oh, what am I doing? You gotta put that on both sides. Okay. And then glue for the top. By the way, if you don't have art glitter glue, let me tell you, I love, 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 love this stuff. And I watch a lot of May Made It, and she sells this stuff. She sells it cheaper than I've been able to find it, like at Amazon or any place else. And no, I do not get paid to say that. I was just doing some searching around for things and looked at Amazon, and they had the refills. It's like an 8-ounce refill, which is a lot, but trust me, this is some awesome glue. But May's prices are like, I don't know, probably $3 or $4 cheaper than Amazon. So if you're looking for some cheap refill for this stuff, what am I doing? What am I doing? Get your head together, woman. Alright. And I'm putting this on the bottom because when I put it in my paper thing, I put it in with the open side in so the open side doesn't catch dust. And I can see it from both sides. Alright. So now my label is on. So like I said, I'm going to put it in my rack with the open side facing the back of it so that keeps that pretty dust free. And the rest of it doesn't fade or get warped or whatever. But anyway, that's a 12 by 12 pouch, and that's exactly the same process I used to create my 9.5 by 12s. And the factory ones, yes, they're clearer. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't bother me. I can still see the paper. But the factory also has the finger notch. Sorry for the glare. But this plastic is not as easy to do that to. And I tried it. If I can find another one I did. I tried to use my circle punch, and that did not work out too well. It did it, but I had to end up cutting. See, it's not a real clean cut. So I ended up having to cut it, and I just decided, you know what, the finger hole's not really worth it to me. I don't really care. But that is how I'm going to be making all of my pouches for my paper, and I'm really excited about it, and it's super cheap. Yeah, it's 25 bucks, but that's like more plastic and pouches than you will ever need for life. And then if you want to trade them out, you can just take your little label off, stick another one on top of it, it doesn't matter, and then you have your little pouches, and whenever you have scraps or whatever of a particular paper line, you can put it in there. The other great thing is, I have this crazy obsession with Graphic 45 these days. See, this is how I was storing them in Ziplocs, but I don't really like this because there's a lot of extra flopping around, and this plastic is not real sturdy. Doesn't fit into my cubby all that well. But anyway, the 12 by 12 paper pads you can put in there as well. They fit nicely. You can put your sticker sheets in them. And then if you have scraps, you know, you can put those down in it. You don't lose your scraps. All of your stuff is together. I'm also going to be making, like I said, 6 by 6 pouches. I may do something a little fancy, and if I do, I'll video that one and show it to you. Otherwise, I'm just going to make little 6 by 6 square pouches with, like, this leftover that I had right here. Let's see. That just happens to be 6.5. Look at that. It'll be 6.5 by 6.5. So I can probably get 2. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. I can get 2 out of this little piece of leftover. So I'll do that, but then I'm going to test out my other method. You could also cut these a little bit longer on one side and make a flap and use some Velcro. That would be kind of cool. So instead of buying the storage something or other, or the cropper hoppers or whatever. You can make your own. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be making more videos coming soon. So check those out, and if there's anything you want to see, just let me know. I'm glad to be back, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!